Back time for another edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions edition presented by Modelo. After Carolina is able to sprint past Kansas in the second half in the Smith Center tonight, final score 87-74. I'm Jones Angell. He's Adam Lucas. Adam, this was obviously a game of two halves, and the second half was some really impressive basketball from the Tar Heels. They shoot 67% in the half. They outscored Kansas 58-37, 58 points in the second half after shooting just 33% with a ton of turnover trouble in the first half. A different team played in the second half, and that team could be one of the best in the country.
One of the best halves of the Hubert Davis era?
Yes. Considering opponent, yes.
And one of the most important halves of the Hubert Davis era. It felt like you're down by 8 points at halftime. You did not play well at all in the first half, and then you just come out and do everything right in the second half from the beginning. And it was like Bill Self could feel it because he just started burning timeouts.
Yeah, he took timeouts early.
He couldn't figure out what else to do because the Tar Heels, in all honesty, were unstoppable at that point. And so he was just trying to do whatever he could to stay in the game. But the Tar Heels were too good offensively.
I mean, Carolina, for a long time in the second half, was shooting well over 70%. They end up at 67%, as I mentioned, in half number two. And, Adam, there were a lot of pieces to this in the second half. We're going to talk about some individuals in a second. But 36-10, the points in the paint in the second half. Carolina was really struggling with turnovers in the first half, had 10 of them. Kansas scored 17 points. Second half, Tar Heels had one turnover, and Kansas got 0 fast break points in the second half after having, just 6 in the first half, but ended up with 6 for the game. So some little bit deeper in the box scorer stats that tell you that, yes, the Heels were dominant in the second half.
Carolina now 37-1 when they shoot at least 50% under Hubert Davis, so that's the formula.
Yeah. Just shoot better than 50%, you will win.
Second half, Tar Heels scored on 10 of their first 11 possessions, 19 of their first 23, 21 of their first 26, and 23 of their first 31.
Wow. That's as efficient as it gets against a good team and a good defensive team in Kansas.
And yes, and it was everybody in the second half. Like, first half felt like people just watching Caleb Wilson, and in the second half, Caleb Wilson was still there, thankfully, but everybody did a little something.
Adam, did you mention Caleb Wilson? How about another terrific performance from the freshman? So, Adam, after 22 points against Central Arkansas, the fourth highest in a career debut for a Tar Heel freshman, he backs it up tonight. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and right from the jump, you saw that putback dunk. That was the first basket of the game.
I think his first 9 two-point baskets as a Tar Heel were dunks, and then he decided to show some other things like that post up, this post up.
A big-time move.
All these highlights are incredible, but I honestly thought what was most unusual about him was in the first half when Carolina was struggling, he was getting loose balls, he was getting steals. He was like the veteran leader of the team who wouldn't let them sag, but it was his second college game. But he was making veteran-type plays even when things weren't going well, and that set the stage for when things went really, really well.
Adam, talk to Caleb Wilson. You'll see and hear that in a minute. I talked to Coach Davis. Of course, you'll hear that as well and see that here in just a minute. I want to talk about 2 other individuals, though, Adam, before we get to those. Henry Vasar had a double-double in his first game as a Tar Heel and answered the call again tonight. 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He blocked the shot. His length and size around the basket, and he stepped out to hit a 3 or 2 as well. But his length and size around the basket was a difference maker in this game.
He's really talented. Did a lot of things. You see the emotion right there. Feels like his emotion is important. He and Wilson together, you can probably guard one of them, but a lot of teams, including Kansas tonight, are going to have trouble guarding them both because they make plays like that, which even Caleb Wilson said he wasn't quite sure how Henry Vasar did that. I mean, just catch a lob and reverse dunk it. That's not a normal move for a 7-foot-tall human being, but those two together are tough to defend.
Those two were good all night. Carolina's backcourt was not good in the first half, but really answered the call in the second half. Seth Trimble played good defense on Darren Peterson all night. Peterson still got 22 points, but had to work for it. Seth ended up with 17 points. I believe it was either 13 or 14 of those came in the second half. And then, Adam, you had Kyan Evans, who looked a little overwhelmed in the first half. In the second half, looked like a totally different player.
And in the second half, he puts up 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, got a rebound, had 3 assists, no turnovers, 2 steals in 17 minutes. He was plus 21 in the second half alone because he was making plays like that. He just looked so much more confident. There was a moment in the first half where he looked very hesitant to shoot or really be involved in the play. That hesitancy went away in the final 20 minutes.
Okay, so I talked to Coach Davis. Adam talked to Caleb Wilson. Let's let you see those interviews and hear from those two gentlemen. We'll come back on the backside of that, wrap things up for tonight on the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions Edition, presented by Modelo. Tonight over Kansas in the Smith Center, down by 8 at halftime. The Tar Heels pull away and win it by double figures in the Smith Center. I'm Jones Angell, alongside the very happy head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. And, Coach, I want to talk about the game in total, but let's start with that second half. I mean, what a performance in that second 20 minutes. What was different in your mind from your team in half one to half two?
Well, I was really, proud of them, how they responded to the things that we talked about during halftime. And I told them I was really encouraged. I thought we didn't play very well in the first half. We had 10 turnovers. They, basically they were almost pick sixes. They scored 17 points off of our 10 turnovers in the first half. I just, defensively we were making mistakes, and we were only down by 8. And I said, if we would just take care of the basketball and not make mistakes and rebound on the defensive end, I said, guys, we can turn this around quickly. And within 2.5, 3 minutes, it was tied. And just really proud of the guys that, we talked about the turnovers, only 1 turnover in the second half. We talk about offensively dominating points in the paint. We did that in the second half. And we talk about we want to get out in transition, and that all started with our effort defensively and allowed us to get out in transition, get some easy baskets.
Your big man combo of Caleb Wilson and Henry Vesar, they were pretty darn good tonight. What a performance from those two. What did you see from those two guys?
Yeah, obviously, Henry, his skill level is elite. That reverse lob dunk, I don't even know how that happened. Those obviously they're fundamentally sound. They know how to play the game, but they also are gifted and do things that you just can't coach or teach. And they were huge on both ends of the floor, defending, rebounding, taking care of the basketball, making big shots. I mean, Caleb just doesn't look like a freshman at all. It's the exact opposite. He's not scared of the moment. He's like sprinting towards the moment. And to see him come up big. But, Jones, this is the number one thing. I told him I wanted them to get a taste. We have 11 new guys on our team, and I just really wanted them to get a taste of what it's like to play in that type of atmosphere in the Smith Center and to come away with the win in big. I'm just so proud and happy for the guys.
Felt like the atmosphere helped you some. I mean, it was, as you like to say, it was live in there. It was real in there, as you like to say.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't give them too many opportunities to get real in the first half, but the second half, pretty much the whole half was. And so we feed off of our crowd. And I think, it was Kansas. Yes, we played really well, but it was almost they were just eager for basketball season to start. Like, it was like we've been waiting all summer. Let's go, and it was great to have their support, and we definitely felt it, and it definitely helped us.
Your backcourt struggled in the first half. Not in the second half. Seth was getting to the rim. Kyan Evans looked like a different player from half one to half two. What did you see from those guys?
Just confidence. Kansas really good at getting steals, deflections. They pick up full court, any dead ball full court situations, tremendous pressure. I thought Kyan, his second half was on point. He led the team. He was in charge. He took care of the basketball, got everybody in the right spots, made sound decisions, whether for himself or for his team. I'm really happy for him, and he's from Kansas City, so he has a little bit of bragging rights going back home. So I'm happy for him.
Coach, just two more things. Darren Peterson ended up, I think, with 22 points, but it felt like he had to work, and he's very talented, but he had to work for those points. Just your thoughts on how you guys did defensively against a really good player.
He's one of the best players I've ever, as an assistant head coach, ever coached against. He's that good. And you want to talk about real, like his talent is real. I mean, it's not just offensively. You know, he gets steals, he's instinctive, gets deflections. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to compete against him. It was helpful that he got in foul trouble in the first half, and we kind of went at him in the second half. And I think Tiller got in foul trouble, which helped us a lot because he hit 3 or 4 threes in the first half. And so I just think our persistence and stubbornness of trying to get to the basket and get to the paint put a lot of pressure on them and really helped us out.
Last thing, Coach, because I know you got other responsibilities. I know any win is good. I know any win against a great opponent is a good win. Did this one feel like it had a little extra for you tonight? It's just a big opportunity early in the season at home. Did it just have a little extra edge for you guys this evening?
I think it did, from the standpoint this new group, this new team, to get a taste of what it's like to play here, to play in front of that crowd, and to come up big and to win. I just wanted them to have evidence to how special it is to be here. And for me, that's, the first time being involved against Kansas that we won. I mean, 91, we lost in the Final Four. My first year as an assistant, we lost to them in the second round in the NCAA tournament. They were a number 1 seed. Obviously lost in the national championship game 4 years ago and then lost to them. We had a 4-point lead with 3 minutes to go at Allen Fieldhouse last year. So it's nice to come up on the win side against Kansas for the first time ever for me. It's great.
Guys, Coach Davis actually had to change because his suit got so wet in the locker room from guys throwing water around, but that's a shower you don't mind, right?
I don't mind that one. They can ruin all of my suits, and seeing how happy – I won't remember the score, but I'll remember what that locker room was like with them for the rest of my life.
Great night for the Tar Heels, guys. Carolina gets the win, and an exciting one at that. Heels win over Kansas tonight in the Smith Center, 87-74.
Caleb, at fantasy camp, maybe about 3 months ago, the Kansas game came up, and you immediately said, that's November 7th. Why was this game something that you have been pointing towards for so long in your Carolina career?
I mean, I just take it personal. We ain't beat them in 23 years. Now it's day 0. So that's all I was thinking about. And the matchup was definitely personal to me, too. So I knew I had to go in here and give them my all and play as hard as I could, and that's what I did to get the win.
In the first half, when the offense wasn't as fluid as it was in the second half, you were able to keep things going with some energy plays. How were you able to kind of get things moving by getting on some loose balls, some steals, things like that?
I trust my team, and I know sometimes it takes us a minute to get going. So I'm always going to bring it out the gate, and that's all I can say. I'm always going to go my hardest no matter who we're playing and no matter what's going on.
And then in the second half, 67% from the field as a team, 36-10 points in the paint just in the second half alone. What was the difference offensively in the final 20 minutes?
Me personally, I just decided, we aggressive. Like, Henry's a dog. We all some dogs. I was telling Seth the whole first half, you got to be aggressive, bro. You the best guard out here. And eventually we all just got to it. Cayenne started to pick it up, and it was over with from there.
What was the message at halftime? The team as a whole had not played very well, but you're only down to 8. What did Coach Davis tell you before you went back out there?
Just basically be aggressive and limit our turnovers, and just telling us we played a terrible half of basketball, but we're still only down 8. So once we play a good one, we know it's going to be the outcome.
So one terrible half and one really good half, and that's good enough for a double-figure win over Kansas. What does that tell you about where this team could go?
I told everybody after the BYU game I felt like we was going to be the best team in the country, and it's just going to prove it. So we got to keep going. Way more big games down the road, but I feel like this is a great start.
What'd you think? You talked about how when you came to the Duke game, that environment was something that made you want to come here. This was a pretty good environment. What difference did that make?
None to me. I tried to get the whiteout going, and I saw it was filled away, so I know I had to just pick up my part and go out there and hoop.
Is there anything you don't do? I mean, so you do marketing. You got the whiteout going. Yeah. You play a little bit of basketball. I mean, what else is in the Caleb Wilson repertoire at this point?
We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure something else out to do, and it's always a life after basketball. So I'm just trying to figure it out now.
That life is a long time away. A whiteout for Caleb Wilson, a win. And team-wide, Caleb, thanks so much.
So 87-74 the final, and Adam, this was game 2 of the season. And both these teams are going to play a lot other good teams as the year goes on. Just felt like Carolina needed to win this game. It was at home against a really good team. Carolina has a good team. Last year in particular, the Tar Heels came up short in so many of these marquee matchups by just a possession or two. And it just felt like it was important for Carolina to win this game. And at halftime, you weren't sure. But then they played their best half, as we said, in quite a while and shut the door.
And to be able to take a game that at halftime, the feeling in the Smith Center was kind of, this again? But then you saw something that you had not seen before. And to not just win, but to do it decisively feels important, honestly, because Carolina does have some games coming up that they should be favored in. But this win and the type of win it was sets the tone for how people are going to talk about this team between now and the Michigan State game on Thanksgiving Day. And they're going to talk about them very favorably.
Adam, can I just ask you one more? Like, Caleb Wilson, where are we here with Caleb Wilson as far as Tar Heel freshman? I mean, it's 2 games in, but so far your small amount of evidence is impressive.
Is he a little Antoine Jameson-esque, just with the consistency that he's doing it? Now, and it's odd because we're kind of counting the BYU game in our minds. And that game didn't actually count. But he's shown he can do it. And he doesn't really seem satisfied. Like when he came in to talk to us and he was looking at the box score, he's like, well, I got to get my rebounding better. Yeah, work on that. We saw some great passes in those clips. I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything. There will eventually be a freshman night.
Sure.
But the way he plays is a little immune from the normal freshman night where your shot's not going in. Because if his shot's not going in, he'll just go dunk it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take nights off.
It's the combination of the talent, the motor, the desire to be good, and the IQ for the game. He's got all that, which is an impressive combination.
His interview on the podcast, I would really recommend to people if you want kind of a window into that mindset, because he said some things there that I think we're seeing the fruits of now. Carolina Insider YouTube channel, Jones.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago, maybe September, early October, right in that range that we spoke to Caleb at length for the podcast. But for tonight, the Tar Heels look good, man. 87-74 the win over Kansas in the Smith Center. So, Tar Heels at home for the next couple of games with some teams that they will be favored over. They play Radford and North Carolina Central next week, a game against Navy as well before they head down to Florida where the competition ratchets up, where they'll see a good St. Bonaventure program and then Michigan State as well. But for tonight, Tar Heels felt like they kind of needed to plant their flag to just make sure everybody nationally remembered about the Tar Heels, and they will be talking about them after tonight. Heels win 87-74. That'll do it for us on the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions Edition, presented by Modelo.
Jordan, look at that! May for the win. Got it! May! How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.